So it seems like it was just yesterday or maybe last week where I was making a video hyped that we just got the commitment from Cam Ward. And I was hyped about the fact that the season was starting in the next few weeks, next couple of months actually. And somehow we are already halfway through the season. So time has flown by. But with the midway, with the midway point of the season and everything, what typically comes about is people start talking about mid-season awards. So I saw a pretty cool article online on Kane's Warning by Tyler Antonell. So shout out to Tyler Antonell. I want to make sure I give you your flowers on this. But I was just reading through it, and I saw he's got some mid-season awards, and I figured it'd be a good idea to make a video off of this because some of these I do agree with. Some of these I'm like, I don't know. So let's go ahead and go through these. But before we do that, my name is Jordan Harris, your favorite host in the entire world, and this is Sports Truth. Please do like the video, subscribe to the channel. My main job is to get your subscriptions. Is to entertain you, obviously. But if I entertain you enough, I do hope that you all would be honorable enough to bless me with your subscription. All right, but I gotta say, if you're expecting me to dress up like a woman or to do weird skits, this is probably not the channel for you because this is where logic meets sports. All right, Sports Truth. Okay, so first, my man Tyler. So first award that he has is the team MVP halfway through the season. And the guy that he has as the team MVP is Cam Ward. To be honest, I can't argue with that. I don't know anybody who could argue with that. He was the guy that everybody was super hyped about in the offseason when we ended up getting this commitment. Transfer portal went very well this past offseason. But the one prize possession that everybody was super hyped about was Cam Ward. And to be honest, he has pretty much done everything that I hoped he would do. I had some crazy high expectations for him, and somehow he has met those. And I'm telling you, I had some crazy high expectations. I felt like the past few years we had good talent all over the field, but we were just missing a competent quarterback. If you know me, you know that I'm a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan as well. And the years before we landed Tom Brady, we would get 7 wins, 8 wins, and I kept saying, this team could be like a 12-win team if we just had a competent quarterback. If we didn't have Jameis Williams throwing 30 interceptions every game or every year, we'd probably win 12 games. Then lo and behold, Tom Brady comes and we win the whole thing. I felt the exact same way about these Hurricanes. I'm watching Tyler Van Dyke throw the ball to the other team over and over and over and over, and I'm like, we've got a good defensive line. We got solid linebackers. Our safety position are stellar. The running back room is great. Offensive line is pretty good. Like, if we had a competent quarterback, we would be really good. And I figured once we got Cam Ward, a really good quarterback, I'm like, we could really make some noise in this country. And apparently we are. And he's done exactly what I've asked him to. So team MVP so far would definitely go to Cam Ward. Okay, so he has the best offensive player. And the player that he has winning this award is Xavier Restrepo. So this has always been weird to me. I got to admit this. Even college football, the NCAA, whenever they do their awards, they do some weird stuff like this. Like, if the MVP is an offensive player, which is the quarterback, then how could the best offensive player not be said player, right? If Cam Ward is if he's the MVP of the entire team, if he's an offensive player, then how would he not win the award for best offensive player? It just doesn't make sense. So explain that to me, Tyler. I don't get that part. But anyway, best offensive player, for me, it has to go to Cam Ward. But if we're talking best offensive player outside of wide receiver or outside of quarterback, we got to go Xavier Restrepo. Like, he is on a record pace right now. He's going to break the record for all-time receiving yards in this season, for all-time receiving yards just in his career. He's going to break that record this year. But he's like on a tear this season. He's doing even better than I expected him to do this season. And as y'all know, he's in my top 10 favorite Hurricanes of all time. So for him to outdo the expectations that I had for him, that's pretty crazy because my expectations for X was crazy high. I'm trying to even think of who I would have behind Xavier Restrepo and Cam Ward as the best offensive player. It wouldn't go to a running back. It wouldn't go to a different receiver because they've just been real steady outside of Xavier Restrepo. Some games Sam Brown gets off. Some games George gets off. So you never really know who's going to kill it for receivers. I think as far as offensive player of the year so far, easily Xavier Restrepo, Cam Ward, easily. I don't know who would be second. So let me know in the comment section, actually, if you weren't going to pick Xavier Restrepo or Cam Ward for best offensive player, who would it be? Maybe an offensive lineman? I don't know. You let me know. Okay. Next award that he has on here is best defensive player. He has Mish Powell. Safety, Mish Powell. So, I'm going to read the first paragraph or first couple of paragraphs. I'm going to read the first couple of sentences that he has on here because I kind of agree with what he's saying. He says, through the first few weeks of the season, this would have been a no contest with edge rusher Tyler Barron running away with the reward. Barron has been quiet over the past few weeks, though, leading to Powell getting recognition. So Powell has actually, quietly, he's been kind of killing it coverage-wise, he's shown some ugly film. He's gotten beat a couple times and make you go, what the heck was he thinking on that? But if you look at his numbers, his numbers are pretty impressive so far this year. So, of course, he played on the national champion runner-up team last year, Washington. But through 6 games, he's 4th on the team. He got 20 tackles. That's 4th on the team. He also has 3 interceptions. The entire team has 10. He's got 3 by himself, and nobody else has more than 1. So he's got 3 times as many interceptions as anybody else on the team, and he has 30% of the entire team's interceptions. That's impressive, right? So you can't hate that. I still would give the edge to Tyler Barron, though, just because he jumped out the blocks, killing them. He was racking up. I think he was leading the nation in sacks at one point, if he's still not. He was on a tear to begin the season. So I still got to go with Tyler Barron since we're only 6 games into it as far as best defensive player goes. Let's go next. Let's see what his next award is. Give me 1 second here. Okay, so the next award that he has is Best Freshman. He's going with cornerback that we have, O.J. Frederick Jr. So with this one, if you have a freshman starting or playing starting minutes, got to respect that. That is incredibly impressive. You go from playing high school football one year, and then you're playing starter minutes, Division I, high-level football, the next year in college, crazy impressive. Can't hate that. Even with all that being said, I think my freshman of the year so far would actually go to Jordan Lyle. He is third, kind of fringe third, 4th on the depth chart, so it's hard to argue Jordan Lyle. But he has shown some stuff. He's the one freshman that I've seen on the field or on camera that makes me go, whoa, he jumped off the screen. When I saw him score that long touchdown against, I think it was Ball State, it was a 70-something yard touchdown, he flashed off the screen to me. That was crazy to see him running that fast. And he's had a few other plays this year, and I'm like, dang, he's impressive. And I didn't think we were really going to go too far outside of the 2 main running backs that we have. I didn't think anybody else would really touch the field this year. So for Jordan Lyle as a freshman to jump in like that and be so impressive, I think I would give him the edge as far as best freshman this year. Okay. The next award that he has is Biggest Surprise. I thought this was a pretty cool award that he had on here. So the biggest surprise that he has is Isaiah Horton, wide receiver Isaiah Horton. So if you watch any of my videos from when they just finished doing the spring game, I was on there joking and laughing because last year I think Isaiah Horton was number 16 or something like that, which I think is just an ugly football number. I think it's ugly. And I was saying Isaiah Horton changed number 2, and it made him that number 2 makes him look faster. I was saying that, and people thought that was pretty funny. But when I watched Isaiah Horton in the spring game, I was like, is he going to be the second best receiver we have? Because he looks pretty good all of a sudden. I was shocked. I figured X would be our best. And then looking at the spring game, I thought Isaiah Horton might be our second best receiver out of nowhere. Last year, I was not big on Horton at all. I hated to even see him on the field, to be honest with you. He looked like he was just a possession receiver. He had no explosion to him. He couldn't out jump anybody. I didn't really understand what he brought to the team. But watching him now as a redshirt sophomore, I don't know what kind of numbers he's going to put up next year and potentially the year after that. He looks like he is going to be a real solid player for us over the next couple of years. So, biggest surprise, would I go with Isaiah Horton? Let me say this first, because I do make some predictions every now and again, and sometimes they so left field, it's crazy. Sometimes I ain't gonna lie to you. Sometimes I make a prediction that's so left field, I have to get in here in front of y'all and be like, okay, that prediction was wrong. So I thought that our standout player of the year this year was going to be Ray Ray. That's what I thought. I thought, especially when you talk about wide receivers, I thought Ray Ray was going to touch the field and they would get him out in space however they could, and he would just be like an X factor for us this year. That's what I expected, and that's what I predicted at the beginning of this season. But that has been way wrong because he hasn't really touched the field outside of doing punt returns. We're the ugly number 35. So would I go with biggest surprise, Isaiah Horton? I kind of think, yeah. I think so. And I'm thinking offensive and defensive. I probably would say yeah because I expected Mish Powell to play pretty well because he came from a national championship team. They played in the national championship last year. He brought that experience with him. So I expected him to play pretty well. The Maui Noah brothers, I expect both of them to play really well. There is one, like, this is biggest surprise in a positive way. There is another guy that it's a biggest surprise in a negative way that I'll talk about in a little bit. But as far as biggest surprise in a positive way, maybe Sam Brown, because I hadn't really seen much of him from Houston, so maybe Sam Brown, but I think Isaiah Horton has to be the right answer on that. All right, so now let's look at the next topic here, which is biggest disappointment. All right, I hate to do this because I like to be positive, but once again, my dad was a basketball coach. I grew up playing sports. I'm an entrepreneur. I've got employees all over the place. Being nice doesn't always work. Being honest typically does. So we got to be honest here. All right. So biggest disappointment, he has Damian Martinez. I 1,000% agree with this. Damian Martinez has not done anything near what I expected him to do. So one thing I can say about him is that he does always seem to fall forward, which kind of reminds me of, what's his name? Zeke Elliott played for the Cowboys. Like in his first couple years, anytime Zeke Elliott would get hit, he would fall forward. But the guy I was trying to think, I think it's DeMarco Murray. Is his name? DeMarco Murray played for the Cowboys running back. I think that was his name. When he was a running back for the Cowboys, he would fall forward every time, it seemed. And that's what I have noticed about Damian Martinez. Whenever he does feel contact, he's going to get at least 1 or 2 more yards every time. The disappointment, though, is that his Le'Veon Bell style of running is just not working right now. It seems like they'll give the ball to Damian Martinez for the first 4 or 5 handoffs, and I'm always complaining like, they're not blocking for him. And then they put in a different running back, either running back, and their first 1 or 2 runs goes for like 6 or 7 yards. And I'm like, okay, Damian Martinez ran the ball 6 times for a total of 12 yards. And then this guy comes in and he blasts through the hole and he gets 8 yards on his first play. So common denominator, you know what I'm saying? Like you got to do that kind of math on this and say maybe Damian Martinez is Le'Veon Bell style where he gets the ball, he just stands there and he waits and waits and waits and then he picks a hole and goes. It's just not working so far, man. It seems like what's working for this offensive line is get the ball, see the hole, and blast through the hole. The typical style running back. That's what it seems like is working here. Okay? I don't like being negative, so let's go ahead and move on to the last award that we have on here, which is Breakout Player. He has tight end Elijah Arroyo, which I think is fitting because, or I shouldn't say fitting, but I think it's pretty cool. The reason why I think this is cool is because in the offseason, we killed offensive coordinator Dawson about not getting the tight ends involved. Like this past offseason and last season, we just kept saying like, you got all these athletes playing tight end, like you got to get them involved. And I remember him doing a press conference or speaking to a couple of reporters in the offseason, and he was telling them like, I know a lot of y'all talking about getting the tight ends involved. Trust me, they will be involved this season. And me and a few other fans were hyped about that in the comment section, seeing that report. So I think it's wonderful, lovely, beautiful that the tight ends are actually getting involved. So much so that the breakout player of the year so far has been Elijah Arroyo. And that's who I would put as this award as well. And what they mean is by breakout player is the guy who most people probably didn't know much about last year. And then this year, they starting to show out a little bit. We actually know who they are because they make a play almost every game. And that, to me, would have to go to Elijah Arroyo. Like, he's an athlete. He's a big body. He can run after he catches it. He knows how to sit down in the zone. Like, he seems like he's going to be a pretty impressive NFL tight end. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's pretty cool. I'm thankful that Dimples heard us all offseason and all last year complaining about not getting the tight ends involved. He put that into his game plan, and it's working out. The sign of a good leader is not somebody who acts like they know everything, but somebody who can actually take criticism, even from people like me who knows less than half about football than he knows, right? So he hears folks like me and like you complaining. He's able to receive that criticism, those critiques, make tweaks to his game plan, and it's working. So got to respect that. All right. And then I'm going to make up an award. I'm going to make up an award just for me because I'm telling you, people be killing Mario Cristobal. Anytime he makes a mistake, people kill him for it. And I'm one of those dudes, like I said, man, I'm a business owner. I've played sports. I've done all this stuff. So that's how my mind works. My mind works from a business owner or an athlete's perspective all of the time. And I know employees and athletes cannot stand business owners, bosses, or coaches who critique every single thing you do wrong. And then when you do something well, they just sit there with their lips zipped. It drives people crazy. So everybody loves to pile on Mario Cristobal when he makes a mistake. So they're 6-0 right now. There has not been any clock management issues so far. People killed him about the clock management issues. So I'm going to give an award of Miami Coach of the Year so far. So the mid-season award for Coach of the Year of the Hurricanes goes to Mario Cristobal. Let's give it to him. Coach of the Year so far. I do think that he's done really well. I got to take it all the way back to the offseason. Some of these players, well, first, the recruiting has been impressive. Like, you got to give him props for that. His recruiting has been super impressive all last season, all offseason. And then he had the wherewithal enough to bring in some of these players in the transfer portal who filled holes that he saw in his roster. Like, he saw there's a hole here at the defensive line. There's a hole here at quarterback. We have a decent quarterback, but we could actually improve on that. We lost both of our safeties. They both left. So let's see if we can get a mature, experienced safety who's super confident. Let's see if we can bring in Amish Powell. Like, that kind of stuff, people overlook it. But as soon as he doesn't call timeout when they think he should have, they pile on and kill him. So let's go ahead and give Mario a pat on the back, please, and thank you. I appreciate that. All right, so please like the video, subscribe to the channel. That's all that I got for you today. As always, I appreciate you watching the video. You could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with me, and I truly appreciate that. So take care. God bless. Peace.